Hello, this is Sandrian from We with Sandrian, and today I have a special guest, Genesis Calliste, and it seems like most of my guests have been really trying to track them down, but Genesis have been trying since last year, I think. So I'm really happy that Genesis is here today with us. Genesis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Genesis. I'm a 19-year-old student. My life is I don't want to say hectic, but it's an adventure is a good word to use. And by God's grace, He's continued to show Himself in every little aspect of my life and continue to show that He's there in every single corner and making ways for me all the time. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Oh, okay. You're very young and you're very gorgeous, and your name is very beautiful. Can I ask though, what exactly does it mean, Genesis, literally from the beginning, or is there kind of story behind it?
So a little bit, so it's kind of like a little story. My parents, they couldn't have kids when they were trying to have me at first. And then after years of praying and fasting, my dad finally got a word from God, from someone who's my godmother now, and basically saying like, "Oh, your wife's pregnant, by the way, now." And then my parents named me Genesis because I'm firstborn, and because like the name Genesis, means to be the first to lead, to be in charge and stuff. And so my parents really believe in, including my dad, he's really big on like names meaning things and names kind of setting up a person for like the rest of their life. And so my dad really wanted me to be like the person in charge, the leader, ahead of the game kind of.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So you know what, though? That is very beautiful. That's a beautiful story. And your dad was right.
Yes. So right.
Your name, and I do believe in names too. And I have a story about my daughter's name too. Soleil kind of was going either ways in Spanish only, but because why I say your dad was right, and later on we'll hear that in your story, because you're doing a lot of things kind of first, if we want to say that. So I think your dad really picked well, and he was spirit led. You said they fasted and prayed, and Genesis was born.
Yes.
And the name fits a perfect, beautiful person, and you're young and energetic, and you said your life. So tell us a lot about the roller coaster and all those things.
Yeah. So, when I was
sorry. Yes, tell us about
a little bit about my story. When I was about 4, my mom passed. And it was a lot, not just on me growing up, but on my family too. And being that at such like a shallow young age, it's like you see some like the happiest people in your life turn like null and like sad, like within split seconds, and it was kind of hard for me at first, like, and I don't really like speak on it too much, but it was like, like even like seeing my dad, like, like if anybody knows my dad, my dad's like this big energetic, this big personality. And at those early stages of my life, like my dad was like that. And then for a few years after my mom passed, he was very sad and kind of kept himself a little bit. And just seeing my family kind of shift to make sure that I was still in good hands and stuff, it really showed, it does take a village to raise a child. Wow. And like, I don't think a lot of people know this, but like I really did watch like the people in my life who like came and like who helped, and like even the ones that I didn't see but I noticed, I saw everything. And it really, like, now I look back and I sometimes, and I'm just like, like that person was really there for this, that person really came for that, and it's like you see it and it's like they didn't have to do that, they didn't have to take time out of their lives to schedule in this child for nothing, and then from there, I realized that I really liked music from young, and I begged my dad day and night to put me in piano classes. And at the age of, I believe, 6 or 7, he put me in piano classes at the Ontario Conservatory of Music, and I absolutely loved it. The thing is I'm very stubborn. So when I started, I was like, I want to play like the big songs. I want to play the classical stuff. And, I wanted to, like really play, but it's like, you can't like do all of it like right at once, you have to learn the basics first. So I used to like skip doing the homework and just play all the time and like try to figure out stuff. And then from that, my parents were like, "You're not even doing the homework. What's the point of sending you anymore?" So they took me out. But it's like from there, I just kind of continued learning from there. And then, you know, I went to elementary school, you know, the music program there. I started doing the trombone and playing around with the tenor sax a little bit. And then a family member of ours, her daughter plays the steel pan. So her daughter taught me for, I think until I was about in grade 7, grade 8, how to play the steel pan. And then from there, just more instruments, more musicality, learning more music theory.
Wow.
And, you know, now, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I saw the steel pan and I was gonna ask,
Yes.
and I saw guitar. Do you want to play something for us after? Or can I see your spot?
I don't know. I'm a bit rusty. I still need to do like new songs and stuff. Like, no, like I just finished school and was like, I was very like zoned into school. So it's like, I don't really like have any songs to play right now. But next time,
definitely. Okay. So the piano got me, and you're a stubborn child. Most kids cry, you know, they don't want to go to piano, but you were the one begging your dad to go to piano.
Yes.
So I'm glad he gave you that start though, because I think that led to, as you said, many other little musical things that he did, the trombone and all those stuff, some things that some girls don't generally do. So, so good on you. Good on you. So let's talk a little about, because you talk a lot about your dad. And by the way, sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you.
She'll be very proud of you, and I'm sure you hear that every day. And thank you for the people that stepped in, as you said, you paid attention and you learned a lot from everybody. So it's good to have a village, because a village does raise a child. So thanks for saying that. So let's back up a little. So your dad, so you have an internet radio with your dad.
Yes.
Your dad is who? Sorry, you want to tell us who's your dad?
My dad is Mr. John Calliste on the radio. He calls himself the sheriff. And yeah, he's one of my biggest inspirations. Don't tell him I said that though, because it's gonna get to his head. But yeah, he's one of those people that, you know, is very open and a big personality. And he's one of those people, you know, like you could just go to talk to about anything. You know, and being around him like my whole life, and us having like, we have like, it's deeper than just like that father-daughter connection, you know, like that's like one of my best friends, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, and it's like growing, I guess like now I'm at the age where it's like I'm developing my own opinions and stuff, so it's like we do bump heads like a lot now, but it's just like, it's like that, and like, no, you can't think like that, like this is like a new age. She's like, so, and it's like, that's when we'll like bump heads, you know. But it's like it's good to have like that kind of person there for me, including the fact that we went through all of this stuff like when I was younger, and like even me developing into like this young woman now, and it's like my dad and I are still like
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So
that is very good, because your dad, and you know, your dad is, I've known your dad or seen your dad, and I speak to your dad because I went through your dad to get to you. Your dad is a very big guy, so yeah. You're a very brave girl to be, you know. But your dad.
Yeah, even my dad, he's always been like the type of person to like never let me back down from a battle. In elementary school, I got like bullied like really bad, and like it was really bad.
Oh wow!
It was, like, I would come home crying, and I would tell my dad, I was like, Daddy, like move me from the school. I don't want to go here anymore. And he'd be like, so what if you get bullied at the next school? I'm supposed to move you out again? He's like, no, go fight your battles. You know what I mean? And one day this kid, he keep picking on me. And I would tell my dad's like, why is this guy always picking on you? And so he's like, I know, like, this is like a message for the kids. Don't do this. I did this for my own protection. But I like kicked the kid in the balls, and I got
it was for her own protection at that point.
Yes, at that point, you know, and I got in trouble, and they sent me to the office. And then they called my dad. They're like, Mr. Calliste, Genesis, she's not a bad kid, you know, she's very good. She does good in school and all this stuff, and we don't know why she did this. And my dad's like, she's been getting bullied this whole time, all these years. And when she finally decides to stand up for herself, you want to call my phone? And my dad hung up on them. And, you know, from then on, my dad is just, I've never been, from there, I kind of learned the lesson, you know, it's like, if you allow people to get to you and allow them to step over you, they're going to step over you. And if you don't stand your ground from the start, you know, just forget about it, you know.
Your dad was right.
Yeah.
Your dad is right, actually. Yes, you do have to stand your ground and don't let people step over you from the start, especially when you take this lesson as you go through life, and you're very young, so you learned that lesson early. So I'm glad, you know, take it with you as you go through with your career and, you know, out in the world there. You need that kind of lesson. So good on your dad for teaching you real early. Good on you for so so tell us a little bit about your dad, the internet radio. What's on it? What
So our radio station name is Genesis Magazine Radio. We also go by GEMFM. We started in 2016, and it branched from Genesis Magazine, which was made in 2002, which is when I was born, which is coming back soon. My dad stopped the magazine after my mom passed because it was hard for him to just keep up with everything, and so he stopped for a while. But now he's like, you know, full steam ahead. You know, this is not only like my dream, but it was her dream. And it's like, now I'm at the age where it's like, I could help out and like, you know, write articles and like get people to, you know, write stuff too. So we're going to build it back up again. And GEMFM is an amazing platform, honestly. We have shows of all kinds. We talk about politics all the way to preachings and just intellectual shows about marriages and all this stuff, and just the things that people don't want to talk about, GEMFM talks about. And I really respect that. And soon, my friend and I, we're gonna be doing our little show podcast kind of thing coming up.
Great.
Yeah.
We're
gonna be starting, I believe we're gonna be starting in June. Yeah, so we're doing the behind the scenes stuff. So we have to like do a meeting with my dad soon to like give him like the creative brief and like the background of the show and stuff. But in June, we're planning to hit the road running. But yeah,
I can't wait. I've catch a few shows, including earlier on. There was a show I caught the testimony. I know I've caught it late night here on a Sunday. It's a 10 p.m. or something show that goes on, and I know there's different people from different islands because I hear
from all over.
Yeah, so that's a show. So I like that. I think once I caught some oldies or something, and then there's a gospel show that goes on. So I'm excited about the podcast. I'm really excited with that. And
my friend and I were really excited. So we're still like hitting around with the name. So we're two like young believers. So we're thinking about like calling like two believers like one brain cell. It's kind of like a joke on a play on words. But yeah, so like we're two post-secondary students. We're probably just going to be talking about like, you know, what it's like to be young and a believer, and like, you know, the things that like people our age face that like probably not a lot of people know about, and like, you know, building up ourselves now in this in this world, because like the world changed so fast, you know. It's like now it's like there's new things that we have to consider in our lives now, and it's not like, you know, before. But yeah.
You know what? I'm very impressed. And, you know, because you're young and you're gorgeous and you're not caught up, and you're talking about doing a podcast on being a believer and sharing your faith with people, and you're not afraid, and, you know, you're open about your faith. So that's really good on you, because I know for teenagers, sometimes some young people, it's hard and, you know, some shy away, but I'm glad that you're mature enough spiritually to be at that place. So good for you. Yeah. Good for you. And I'm waiting for the podcast. So we have the magazine, but your dad's ready to bring it back on board.
Yes.
So I know I saw some merchandise popping up. Tell me about that, you guys.
Yes. So my dad, he started to put out little pieces of like merchandise to see like how people would react to GEMFM merch, which you guys should totally get some. So yeah, so it's just, you know, like basic sweaters, water bottles, backpacks and stuff, just to kind of, you know, spread the word about GEMFM everywhere, like even through your clothing, and things like that. And so we're just doing GEMFM, like just the radio station merchandise right now. But in the future, we're looking about doing like other like shows have like their own branch of merch from GEMFM stuff, and even like little key lines that like people say. So like when my dad finishes a show, he's like, it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure and a privilege to be with you tonight. So he's thinking about putting that like on a sweater or something. So, but right now we're just testing out, you know, how people react to the sweaters and water bottles and backpacks and t-shirts and stuff. But yeah.
Well, everybody always need a sweater and a water bottle and a tank top, and so it's okay. I think you gotta do. I wanted to also ask, sorry, and I lost my train of thought there, but let's talk a little bit about how did you get here? So how did you guys how did you get involved? Was it just because your dad started this radio station, or it's something you're interested in? And also, can you tell us where we can find JOHN? Sorry. So it's strictly.
Yeah. So JOHN, we have our website that you can like press the live link and then listen straight on. And then we do like the live shows where you could like see us talking on Facebook and stuff. But later on this year, I believe we're gonna just try to transport it all on the JOHN website. So if you just search up JOHN like in Google, yeah, we should pop up. Yeah.
I did search up JOHN. It did pop up. Actually, I searched your name too, and it did pop up with JOHN.
Yeah, you can search up Genesis too. I think my dad made like that one of the links to like show up like when you search up Genesis Calliste.
Yes, so, yeah. I did search up Genesis Calliste, and it gave me JOHN. So guys, you can look up JOHN or Genesis Calliste. Question. So you want to tell us, I know you got some sort of scholarship or an award that was very proud and you sent it around. So tell us about that.
Yes.
And congrats.
Thank you. So it's kind of a little bit of a testimony, really. So before my mom passed, she had put some money aside so that when I decided to go to school or whatever I decided to do at this age, I could take that money and do so. I could have taken it to go travel, to like move out, to like pay for school or whatever, and that money was just supposed to be like a little step up to like help me, and I used it for school. And then basically, the pandemic hit, and my mom stopped working because, she's not vaxxed. And it was like really hard on my dad to like, take care of all the bills and then actually have to like look after JOHN. And so I was just like, you know what, let me finish paying for this year. And then I'm just going to give you the rest of the money to just take care of what needs to be taken care of. And wow. I was freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, that was a really poor adult decision. Like, what am I supposed to do now? And I was absolutely petrified. And I was like, God, like I need a job or I need something so I could like take care of the rest of this. And even my dad, he's like, when everything settles, don't worry, like I'm gonna give it back to you. And I was like, yeah, I believe you. Like, you're not gonna run away. You're my dad, And so yeah, and I was just like, but God, like, how am I gonna pay for next semester? Like, what if my dad, doesn't? And then I remembered around that time, and then so I prayed and I fasted about it, and God wanted me to talk about being a believer. It's like, it's not just you just add God onto your life now. It's like you live your life for Christ through the Holy Spirit for the Lord. And like that's how you should be living now. It's not just you and your old ways, but you just like carry the title of a child of God. And so I spoke about it, and as soon as I saw it, this email popped up about, congratulations, you're the recipient of the Sirius XM scholarship. And I was just like, what scholarship? And I was on the phone with my friend after, and I was just like, dude, what are they talking about? And I was like, oh my gosh, in January, I signed up for a whole bunch of scholarships. And this one was like the one that was like, could take care of like all of next year. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And I called my dad and I was crying. I was like, I got a scholarship. And he's like, oh, congratulations. He was like that evening, he's like, because I was at the library, and because I like quiet spaces, but like where people are walking, so it's like I don't feel like I'm on my own, and it's like everyone's like in a work environment, so it's like I feel like I need to work too. And so so I was at the library, and I called my dad. He's like, I was gonna tell you to like, I was gonna pick you a pathway and like tell you about like how proud I am of you, like the woman you're becoming. And I was just like, Papa,
I want to cry too.
It's like I was like, wow, like God really pulls through like before you even like would think. And I was just like, I totally forgot like I signed up for the scholarship. And then I looked at like the original email, and it was all the way in like March that they sent me this congratulations, but I just didn't see it because I'm like really bad at like checking email sometimes. Like I'll just like do like a quick morning like look, but it's like I won't like, really look. And so I was like, wow, isn't God good? So yeah, and then that video that like my dad sent around, it was just me saying thank you to like the board and stuff for like picking me, because like that scholarship, it wasn't just like the company that was choosing you. also like your professors have to say like, this is a good student. They do good in my
Wow.
classes. They participate a lot. They're into it and stuff. So it was like, not only like, did they pick me and like pick me based off of like my grades and stuff, but also because of my professors and like what my professors are saying about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, thanks, professors.
I'm sure they didn't lie though. And just talking to you, I can guarantee what they said, which were very true words. So, I mean, but I like, you said you applied and you didn't even remember, you didn't even open the email and you were kind of like, what scholarship? And you said something like, God, even when you don't think about it, God does answer your prayers. So you just do your part. You fasted and prayed, you applied, you left it in God's hands. You forgot about it, but God was working on behalf of you all that time. So
Exactly.
that's, oh my gosh, you're giving me goosebumps. Your dad is very, very proud of you. I can tell you that. And, I am, and I don't even know you that way, but just listening to you and I, doing a little research, I'm like, wow, this little girl, and I don't mean to call you little girl, put you down, but you're going places, so good for you. So we're gonna talk. So you got a scholarship. So what are you studying now? Like what is
so right now in school I'm studying radio broadcasting. And so the reason behind it is because I was like, it's the family business. I'm starting to like really enjoy radio. And I was just like, I'm gonna be in it for the rest of my life because it's a part of the family now. And so I might as well take like those 2 years and just dedicate it to like learning about the behind the scenes and what it actually takes to put it all together, so I was just like, let's do it. But ultimately at the end of the day, a dream of mine since I was like a little girl was to get into medicine and become an OBGYN. And on and off, like I've just been battling, like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? And in the pandemic, I like prayed about it. I was like, God, should I? And I was listening to Sarah Roberts Jakes. Yeah. And I was listening to her. I was listening to her Girl Get Up sermon. And it was just like the Holy Spirit was just like, girl, get up. And I was just like, okay, so we're doing this for sure. And like just praying and like talking to God about it. It was like, I ran away from it like for three times. And it's like every single time, like God just brought me back. So I talked to God. I was just like, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to, do this radio stuff right now. So I can have like that background, that knowledge and what to do. So I can really like lead the radio, like when my dad hands it to me. And then after I'm done, which is next year, I'm going to start because, I'm only 19. So it's like, I have all this time,
You got a lot of time left in you.
Exactly. And my dad was always like a really big believer. It's like, you only live one life, live it to the fullest. And it's like, if your dreams don't work out, it's like, you still have so much more to do, It's like, life doesn't just stop like when one of your dreams don't work, you know what I mean? And it's like, continue dreaming, continue like thinking big. Cause it's like, what are you going to lose if you think big? Nothing. Absolutely.
Exactly. So it's good to think big, right? As you said, what are you going to lose? And you're so young. If it doesn't work out and you had a good foundation, move to the next, And sometimes God gives us dreams and vision and it's for a time, Who knows where God's leading you from this point here? Maybe prime minister, maybe, I don't know, we don't know. Like, this is just your stepping ground, like your starting point. So I was going to ask, but you answered that if you always wanted to get it being broadcasting, but you sort of said you wanted to be an OBGYN, and this is where you think God has led you and answered your prayers. So girl, get up. And that was it, right? You're like, girl, get up. And okay, perfect. So I'm going to ask you some questions about kind of you. What gives you worth as a young lady?
What gives me what, sorry?
Worth?
I know I like continue talking about God, but it's like
no, please
continue.
Honestly, that's what
honestly, just like knowing who I am in Christ and stuff, it like really just reminds me and like grounds me. It's like, no, like I am that girl. I'm God's girl, and it's like in this world where it's like there's so many different types of distractions and stuff and just things that can really pull you down and weigh you down, and it's just like, even just to remember that it's like, at the end of the day, it's like your heavenly father is like the one that's created this planet, the people you love, even the people that you don't even know, the universe, the stars. And it's like, and you're his, like, how do you not find your worth in all of that? And it's like, he took time to make you. And not even just that, it's like, even times when you lost your way, he still like pulled you back. And it's like, if you're that precious, it's like that, even like the individual that created all this whole universe still wants me, like, I must be worth something. You know?
Wow. Yes.
It's like,
wow. I like that, you know, and listen, don't be afraid. It's what you feel, and I can see you're passionate about your beliefs, and it's not just a belief system for you, it's something that you live every day, right? I agree. If the king of the universe looks down on you and answer your prayers and your fasting, and you know, provides for you from the time you're born to now, why shouldn't you have worth? That's worth living
exactly.
for, you know? So
yeah, it's like you take time just to listen to my prayers and to answer them, and not just answer them, but to build me up and to put things in my way, and allow people to come into my life and help to build me up, and also for me to learn lessons from them. And it's like, you care so much about like not only just me, but my character development and the people that I come into my life and stuff. And it's like, it must be something in the end if it's like all of this, you know? And so
yeah, listen, I feel like you should preach a sermon. I can't wait for the podcast, because like, I'm still not baffled, but you're young, you know, and I'm glad your dad was such a strong-minded person. And it's amazing though to see from, you know, your little challenges, we're gonna call them challenges, that you had as a young child, you know, infancy, and here you are, this young lady that's grounded and stable, and you know, can choose wisely and can listen to whatever voice, in this case the voice of your God, telling you, helping you with the decisions that you make, and you're adhering to them and listening and following through. Even more amazing that you and your dad, because your dad is a very big man, you know, and from Caribbean background too, right? That you and your dad can have this kind of relationship where you can say, listen, I want to work in my dad's business. You know, I'm going to do the family's business. You know, I'm going to pro this. When he passes on to me, I'll take up the mantle. Not every young person wants to do that. It's like, that's my dad's and my mom's dream, you know?
Yeah.
Not my dream. So
yeah, it's like even my dad, it's like, I've seen like how much work he puts into it, and like even just hearing him talking about like him and my mom's dream, like building the stuff up together. It's like, you know, it's like, she's not here to like put it together, and it's like my second mom is doing as much as she can, you know. And like, I don't want to say I feel obligated, but it's like, I feel like a pull towards helping out, you know. It's like, and it's like, it's a fun environment to be in, you know. And even I was just telling my dad, like, you know, like radio is like a base kind of thing, you know. I'm like, there's so much to build on it, and it's like, including the fact that like this new world that we're in, like where it's like podcasts are like a really big thing. I was just like, you know, like turning GEMFM into like not just only like a radio station, but like a podcast station where it's like people from all over can just like broadcast their stuff from like GEMFM. That would even like be even greater. And he's like listening to me like with these opinions and stuff, and I'm just like, dude, like it's possible, you know. And the thing with my dad is he's like, don't feel like obligated to like stay, you know what I mean? Like, yes, help out like where you can if you want, but he's just like, I still want you to like follow your dreams at the end of the day. So that's like, he's like very like, you know, Jenna, take this time now if you want to like do this radio program, but he's like, after, do your stuff, like follow your dreams, what you want to do. Yeah, he's like really big on that too. Yeah.
Okay, Genesis, this is wonderful, and I really can't wait for the podcast that you and your friends are going to put out. I think you're going to be a very good. Well, not think you're going to be. I believe you are a great influencer for young people, young women. You know, and your story. You could have taken different paths, right?
Yeah,
but you didn't, and you stayed grounded. So, anything else you want us to know about you? Anything else you want to share?
Anything else I want to share about myself? I guess the thing of me is like, I don't know, a lot of people, you wouldn't think this like right now, but it's like, I'm a very like kind of like shy person.
No way.
I know. Like your face is like shy. No, like I can be like really shy at times. Like sometimes it's like I'll just like sit in the corner, just like say hi to people passing by. But sometimes, it's just like I'm really big on like, what if I never get this moment again? Like take advantage of the opportunity. So then I'll be like, hey everybody, my name is Genesis. How are you? And I think that's something that's like a really important lesson in life, like take advantage of the moments that you have. Don't shy away from opportunity ever. If you have the opportunity to do something, take it. Like, what are you going to lose? You know what I mean? And, and I guess another thing about me is, I'm very big on adventures. And like now it's like I'm 19 and I can drive. So I'm just like, and I even told my dad, I was like, I'm going to be very serious with you. I was like, Daddy, I don't hang around bad people. My friends go to church on Sundays. Like, for example, today, like one of our friends, he got baptized. So we went to that service. It finished early. And then my friend's church service started at 2. So we're like, might as well just go to 2 services in one day,
Wow.
And so like, that's why. And so I was just like, I hang around like good, God-focused people. I was like, you have nothing to worry about this summer. I was just like, the worst thing that's probably gonna happen is like, I'm watching my friends at Caravan. Like, that's probably like, the worst that's gonna happen. So I'm just like, this summer I'm like, I'm rarely gonna be home, I promise you that right now. And that's like so weird for my dad because like I like staying home. Like this room is like my little cave. So for my dad to hear like, oh, she's gonna be out, like what's she doing outside? Like but yeah, so I was just like, I'm gonna be outside. And it's like, I love like doing like little adventures. Like even my friends like call me like in like the middle of the day, they're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm just like, I'm doing nothing right now. What are you doing? They're like, want to go out? I'm just like, let's do it. I'm down for 110%, and yeah, take those little adventures, including like in this big city of Toronto. It's like, there's so many things that like I didn't even know about that I know about now.
Yes. There's a lot of things in Toronto to learn about and to be adventurous about. And as you said, you have a good circle of friends. And your dad knows that, so he can trust you with that. And as you said, 19 is liberation, it seems for you, right? So what I like though, and I want to just, you said take advantage of the moment. And though you're a shy person, you said you think of things like, take advantage of this moment. So no, I'm shy. I'm not gonna sit here, what am I gonna lose? I'm gonna take advantage of this moment. So yeah, that's a good thing, take advantage of the moment. So if in wrapping up, what are you going to share with a young person or anybody out there? Anything you want to share with my viewers? Some advice.
I guess, trust God, like in everything, a good analogy that like I think about like when it comes to trusting God is like, if God's telling you, I'm not like he probably would, but it's like, if God's telling you to like, jump, and you're scared to like jump because like, I don't know where I'm going to land. I don't know how I'm going to land. Is there something that's going to catch me? And it's like, you just taking that jump and like God's wind just like picking you up and like leading you to where he needs you to be, And it's like, you got to take that leap of faith with God because, being believers, we're not supposed to, follow by our sight. We're following with our faith. And being faithful in God and trusting that even through like, those dark seasons and like times where it's like really hard to see it through, you have to remember that God allows those certain seasons so that we can grow from it, not to hurt us with it, and in situations, sometimes it is hard to have like that positive outlook, but just remembering and like sticking in your word and having like that good environment of people around you to continue to like uplift you and to remind you like, God is still good. Like right now, life might not be good, but it's like God is still good and he's allowing you to be here. We don't know for what yet, but it's like, I promise you in the future is going to be something great. And, like I said, taking advantage of the opportunity. Don't ever let an opportunity slip through your fingers because it's like, that opportunity can open portals of doors for you for like the rest of your life, And also with that, be careful with the choices and the decisions you make because it can also, close a lot of doors and portals in your life.
Yes.
So being very conscious about that. And I think a great thing for me right now is just like following God and just, continuing in faith and things that I do and the people that I allow around me, it's like, they haven't hurt me, you know, and having God lead those people into my life, and having God kind of just lead me and push me in certain directions that I've like met new people from and had new adventures in and new opportunities in. It's really beautiful, you know, and being this young and following Christ, I never thought, like when I was younger, I thought I'd be like out partying and stuff. I think like I thought, like, you know, by this age I was gonna be like in the club like on Saturdays. Like, no, like Saturday nights I'm home early because I got church in the morning, you know. Wow. And so it's like, don't be scared to talk about God. And I know it's hard sometimes, like when you're young, because like, you know, you see your friends doing this, but it's like at the end of the day, you know, when you pass, you're not going before God. I mean, you're not going before your friends, you're going before God. You know, you're telling God your life story. You're telling God, he's just going to be looking at your whole thing about what you did for your whole life, you know. And don't let your mistakes define you, because, you know, Christ died for those mistakes that you make. The purpose of following Christ and being a Christian isn't to follow a whole bunch of rules and get it perfect all this time, you know. God knows we're not perfect. The purpose is to have that relationship with him and to be honest and to admit that I'm doing wrong. Please help me, you know, to continue down that road. And, you know, us Christians, we're some of the worst people ever. You know, we continue to make mistakes daily and all the time. I'll be the first person to say, you know, like I make mistakes constantly, you know, and I've messed up a few times, you know, but it's like, because of God's grace, I could sit here and say like, no, God is good, you know, and him and I are good. So before you go out and like, you know, say, and act all like high and righteous, like make sure you and God are good first before you can do that, because God will humble you very quickly.
I like that. Make sure you and God are good, you know. Genesis, you said a few things and I thought it, but I didn't want to say it. When I said that you were young and, you know, you have no issues talking about your faith, and then you brought up a few minutes ago, you know, you thought at this age you'd be in the clubs and, you know, yes, you know, you're a gorgeous girl. At 19, you're living your dream, right? But it's really, you know, it's amazing to see that you didn't end up in the clubs and that you stayed grounded and focused, and you're quite verbal, you know, about your faith, and that your faith and most of your responses show that God brought you here, and your faith in God brought you here, and your beliefs brought you here. And I'm grateful and thankful that you willing to share this with the world, that God, your God, is a good God, you know, and it's an amazing God and a forgiving God. As you said, you did things along the way, but God, you know, God kept you still, right? So it's not just a big bad God, you know, but he did keep you. So thank God for that. Thanks for, you know, the village that raised you. And as you said, it takes a village to raise a child. And in your case, that was very true. Your dad and the village and, you know, your stepmom and whoever were involved in your life did a phenomenal job. I'm really just stunned and awed by your beauty, not just your external beauty, but your demeanor, like your aura, if I want to use this word, I know God aura, but, you know, but
yeah, I get you.
You know, but what you give out, right? The positiveness. And I wish, honestly, that every 19-year-old would talk like you and would stay grounded. And maybe the key is faith, right? You know, something to hold on to that would keep you grounded. But thank you for that. So a few things I'm going to throw there before we end, if you don't want to add anything else, is that you said take advantage of the opportunity. You're shy and not, don't let this opportunity pass you. What I think, as I said before, key to your faith, and you said you fast and pray a lot. And I like that. It seems that most of your decisions, when you have big ones, you go to your source, which is your God, right? Which is God. So you tap in there. So you said trust God's faithfulness. God is going to provide you with everything. And if he says to jump, as you said, sometimes don't sit and doubt how, where, who's going to catch me. You know that God said to do it. In your case, this comes sometimes after fasting and praying, right?
Yeah.
And as you said, you and God are okay. So you have to know you and God are okay. And then you're going to hear those things like jump, and you'll know, okay, God said to jump, so I'm going to jump. You can't just go willy-nilly if you and God are not okay.
Yeah,
just
you know.
by whatever voice you hear. Right?
Exactly.
So it's good, though, that you build that relationship with God, that you know you can hear God's voice and jump. And as you said, girl get up and you're like, okay, this radio station thing is for me, forget the gynecologist for now. You know,
Yeah.
who knows, maybe next 5 years, God say, okay, you did enough. Now let's go back and put you where you want to go, where I think you've done, right? So, anything else in conclusion, anything else to end that you want to say?
No, I think I said pretty much everything. Just, you know, keep the faith, enjoy life. You have one, live it up. Live it up with God's grace, you know, and you'll be fine. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. I have to say though, because I'm like, oh my, I mean, I'm in the presence of someone who's into media. You know, I'm not a media guru at all. I'm just some lady doing a random YouTube, you know, but thanks for making me feel comfortable. I was like, oh man, you know, Genesis, I know I'm, you know, you're studying this and I didn't. Thank you for making this very comfortable. Congrats to you and your dad. Congrats to you on getting the scholarship. You know, and you said, you know, your professor said good things about you. They had to, because you were a good student, you know, and you're a grounded person. So it wasn't by chance that they said it or that you got it. And as you said, God already paved that way. You prayed about it, you forgot about it. God was already answering your prayers, getting the professors to say the right thing. Yeah. You don't remember, right? You don't have to worry about the little stipend that your mom had their schools paid for. The radio station continues, you know.
Exactly.
So amen to that. Thank you, though. I really like to seize the opportunity, whether you shine or take advantage of it, guys. You must have faith in something, in someone. And, you know, in our case, because we're Christians, we have faith in God. He really does answer our prayers. Genesis can attest to that. Her testimony, her whole story was about that. And Genesis, don't ever be afraid to continue talking about God. God's been good to you. You know, we know what your life, you just shared your life with us from, you know, 4, you know, even before, because you said before you were conceived, you know, so that's really before I formed you in the womb, right? So, and your name shall live on, like, you know, Genesis is your name because your parents thought you were going to be from the beginning, this person that set precedence, and you are. So congrats there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks once again for being on my show. Good luck to you and your dad, John Calliste on GEMFM. I do tune in from time to time. Guys, check it out. Remember, she said, if you Google GEMFM, GEMFM, you'll find it. If you Google Genesis, which is GENESIS, Calliste, I'm saying Calliste as a Grenadian.
Yes, you are.
Because you said
I was like, I'm not even going to correct this. You Grenadian.
I know. Calliste and I said Calliste. Sorry, so it's Calliste, yes. Calliste. It's okay. My parents are Grenadians too. I'm sure she heard Calliste a lot.
So I grew up saying it Calliste, but like Grenadians say Calliste, and I'm just like, it's a Grenadian thing. It's okay.
But Dad, that's another YouTube. What's actually your last name? Is it Calliste or Calliste? What is your dad's last name?
I have to see how my dad says it and then how the rest of my family says it, because you know, because some of my family say like Calliste and then some of them say Calliste, and it's just like, you know, I guess it's based off of perspective.
But none say Calliste. It's just where they put that where they announce it, Calliste. But none says Calliste. So I'm going with Calliste or Calliste. I'm just joking. Calliste, sorry. So
I guess it's based off for perspective. Yeah. As long as you spell it the right way, I'm okay with it.
No, your last name is Genesis Calliste, which is GENESIS-CALLIST. And if you Google her, guys, you'll find the link to the radio station. And there's a program. I know your dad have a program coming up on Sundays. Sunday night. So tune in, guys, because this would air sometime this week, so you'll catch next Sunday's on. Thank you very much, guys. And I am Sandrian of We with Sandrian. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to share, pass it on to your